Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Our Stars and Stripes and Maple Syrup. We have Jose with us again this week. Jose was with us at the beginning of the season, but because of my illness, it took me ages to get the episode out. So we have him here. He's been to Sunderland. It's a star subject. But before we jump in, remember to hit the subscribe and the like button, just so that we can build this up and hopefully have I don't know, become millionaires. That would be awesome. Jose, thank you for joining me.
Of course, great to be back.
Yeah. All right, so before we jump into the Luton game, let's talk about your ill-fated trip to England for the game, the postponed Millwall game.
So it was just I tried to kind of be frugal on my trip. Our flight was delayed a couple of hours, missed our train going from London to Edinburgh. Said it correctly, I hope so. Then we were supposed to go down to see the Millwall match that Saturday. And then, everyone knows Queen passed away. I was a bit frustrated, but I did have a friend of mine who was from Sunderland. He was in the area of Edinburgh, so I didn't actually get to go to Sunderland. But enjoyed Scotland. Scotland was beautiful. During that trip, I did propose to my fiance. I did it in Salzburg, but
where?
After visiting Salzburg and Vienna, Salzburg, okay. Austria, excuse me. Yeah, but I should have done it in Dean's Village in Edinburgh because it was beautiful. We're already planning our next trip to go back to Scotland.
Well, she said yes, so I mean it worked. So it's a good wherever you did it was the right place.
Yeah, it was. But
I mean, you could have done it outside of Jones Calf in Sunderland, which would have been the perfect place. But hey, not every proposal is perfect.
Oh,
I think was it my first one I did on top of the cathedral in Durham.
That's beautiful.
On the roof of the tower.
That's awesome.
The second one I did in the bedroom in Sunderland.
That's still beautiful. Look at that. Yeah. You're still alive.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm married now for 12 years, so
perfect.
All right, so look, it was unfortunate you didn't get to go at the match. Obviously, getting postponed and Her Majesty passing away was beyond your control. I'm happy you still went and had the vacation and seemed to enjoy yourself from your posts. And hopefully you'll be able to make it out for International Fans Day. Although planning a wedding now, who knows?
Yeah, doing a little bit of both right now, and I'm vigilantly looking at those tickets because right now they're a bit out of price range for me. Going straight into Newcastle, flying.
Don't fly into Newcastle. That's the first mistake you make.
Okay.
It's
either that or fly into Edinburgh.
I fly into Edinburgh, and then I actually enjoy the drive down.
Okay.
So if I was looking at it right now, it's $7.90. It's $8.75 a person with Aer Lingus.
Yeah, no, too much for me. I could probably wait until it gets down to like 400. Then I would probably think about it.
Yeah, it's on my watch list. I've got I've already reserved my room on hotels.com for the the Hilton by the stadium, which is where I like to stay.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay to reserve, so I've got for that. So then it's just a case of watching the flights and getting the flights when they're at their best price. But with Aer Lingus, what you do is once you've booked the price, once the flight's coming up, you can bid on a business class upgrade.
Oh wow!
Have the seats. So my parents were here in September, so they were here with my sister and my niece, and all four of them paid 350 quid each, and all got business class on the way home.
Oh, that's dope.
So
yeah, that's fuck. Maybe if I convince Monica then, because we also have a wedding to go to in May to go to Mexico. So that's another,
you gotta pick your battles.
Yeah.
Speaking of battles, I think that's the best way to describe the Luton game. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't nice passing football. It was a terrible game to watch.
Are we talking about the pitch itself and
watching it? I mean, look. Luton as a town is a shithole.
I
Kenilworth Road should
agree.
have been bulldozed decades ago. But I just thought we started poorly. We started the way we finished the Burnley game.
Yeah,
Um, and we were at sixes and sevens for at least the first half an hour.
yeah, I don't think it was difficult watching it. But it just looks like they were still feeling the burn from the Burnley game, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And look,
And
I
it's
can
just like,
understand them being tired. Some of those players have played every one of the 16, 17 games we're in now.
yeah,
17 games we've
yeah.
played already this season. And it's November. Well, it's October at the moment.
Uh,
Tomorrow's
then they
November.
got, yeah,
So that's a lot of games. So to say August, September, October, 17 games, plus
yeah.
cup
That's
games
a
for some teams. So
plus
it's a lot of
the
football.
injuries. Yeah, it's a lot. It
Um,
is a lot of football.
and I mentioned it on the NASA chat last night. If you look at the players that we've got missing, Ballard's missing, Alessi's missing, Gooch is missing. That's three of our back four. Because
Hmm.
I think the way that Ballard and Alessi have played, they would supersede Bath and Wright hands down.
Yeah,
And I think Gooch is the preferred right back or 09. And I think 09 would drop out if Alessi and Ballard were both fit.
agreed.
But
Yeah,
three of our starting back four are out. Okay. Our front two are out in Sims um
Drogba,
Stewart. Yeah.
Drogba.
There's five players. Who else is out long term?
That's pretty much it. I mean, we're not going to see. We didn't get to see Bennett, so he
I'm not
wasn't.
too worried about that. He's a kid who'll come good. But if
Yeah,
you imagine as being
that's pretty
Manchester
much it.
City and you have Kyle Walker, John Stones, and Emerick Laporte, as well as Haaland and whoever else he's putting up front,
Oh yeah,
out,
then you're hurting
then you're
probably.
hurting. So I mean, the fact that as a team that just came up last season, our goal was to stay up this season,
Hmm.
and we're still 16th in the league. We're only 7 points off a playoff position, and we've had half our starting 11 out
Yeah,
for a bulk of the season already.
yeah. I'm not overly upset, as I've heard like other podcasts and everyone else is just like, oh, we should be. Yeah, but look at everyone's still upset about the striker situation. We gotta get over it, and they did the best Speakman could do, and this just kind of like, if you think about it, the only thing that he shot himself on the foot was not getting an extra striker. Um, and then everyone wants to gloat about that and just, but that's like the only thing they've done as a club, I think, wrong. Um, and the injuries, it just happens. It sucks that it happens, but look at where we're at. I think the Burnley game, it just showed our inexperience and how
I don't
young.
think it was experience, I'll be honest with you. I just think it showed a lack of talent across the board.
Really, I think there's plenty. I think throughout the team, there's plenty of talent. It's just they're all very young. We have the youngest squad in the championship, so I think with that, once I think they felt the burn once that that goal went in, and you could see their heads drop a little. I mean, Burnley is a very reasonable team to go. It's reasonable team to go up against, I guess, with
I mean, look,
the
Burnley will
experience that
definitely
we've
be
got.
there with their bads at the end of the season,
Yeah,
without that. And we mentioned it with Gordon Armstrong and Sean last week.
yeah, it was a
The
pretty good one.
biggest
Yeah,
the biggest issue that I had with that performance is the second half started and we abandoned the press. We looked
yeah,
so good when we're pressing high. Now, obviously,
yeah.
Sims and Stewart do that really well for us as strikers. But just looking at the way we started the game, we started it so lethargically.
Yeah, I like I said, I think it's because we didn't have that. I mean, we had who do we have? Right in the back,
And it
but
showed
Right
that
came
Wright had
on.
been out for a
Yeah,
while. He looked
yeah,
rusty enough the pace.
yeah.
Yaku looked awful in the first 25
He,
minutes.
I saw him trying to make a run like a striker, and and I was like, dude, good effort, good try, but and you could see that he was trying to make the amends, pretty much trying to get that love from the crowd, but it just wasn't. He just wasn't landing it. I think he's
No.
still.
And look, he went
Go.
close in the first half when he hit the post.
Yeah.
With what was really our first real chance.
Mm-hmm.
But we were so disjointed. Luton looked good in that first half. They knew exactly how to attack us. They knew exactly where our weaknesses were.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like seeing that you've got a sore point and then just pushing that sore point in, and we were lucky not to collapse from it. But I think the first half was telling in the lack of quality. We had nobody who could step in the striker's position. I mean, Clark's done a reasonable job, but now he's out suspended. He'll miss the game against Huddersfield on Wednesday night.
But I mean, we have Roberts, so it's pretty much like for like.
Fortunately, Sims looked as though I mean, we'll talk about his second half cameo later, but I think he could start on Wednesday. If he gives us an hour, that would be more than we've had in the last 10 games or so. But my biggest complaint is just the fact that we weren't cohesive at all in that first half.
Yeah.
It was the panic of the Burnley game, and it played out throughout. I mean, we were so lethargic in coming out, which meant that and Luton were pressing quite high the way that we normally do quite successfully, which meant that Patterson had more saves to make than he should have had. And he made 3 really good saves in the first half an hour. Luton hit the post, and our defense was at 6s and 7s for the most part. I think once Lansbury went off around half an hour. Once he goes off, it gave us a chance to kind of collect ourselves for the leaders in the team to kind of say, look, this just isn't good enough. We've got to get onto this. And then they started to play a little bit better.
Yeah. Just do you want to start with defense and then work our way up through the?
You do it. Whatever you want to talk about.
Oh man, I mean, we got to go with defense because that's where I mean we do the best. I mean, let's start with defense because we're struggling with injuries, and then on top of that, we got Sirkin. We were supposed to have. I mean, Hume did all right, but he just wasn't performing the way he was supposed to.
I mean, I thought Hume had a good game against Burnley. I mean, he was weak in the challenge for the 50-50 that led to Burnley's third.
Yeah, I think.
But he had a good game, and whether his confidence took a knock because he did take a lot of shit from fans.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with Hume. I thought he had a decent game against Burnley.
I get, I think I'm just focusing too much on that 50-50, and it's just like, you got to pick yourself up and seeing the crowd. Still waiting on that crowd feeling.
You'll get that. Definitely will. But I mean, look, it was clear that Wright, as I say, it was clear that Wright hadn't been playing first team football. You could tell he was rusty. He was off the pace of the game. But as I say, once we had that break in play for Lansbury's injury, he went off. Wright, O'Nine, and Bath got together and kind of had that kind of power that says, look, this isn't good enough. We're going to get spanked if we keep this up. And they just seem to play a little bit more composure. A little bit more kind of intent. And it started to look good for a little while. I mean, it started to look better. I don't think we looked good at all in any part of the match.
I think it's maybe we need another left back because Sirkin is just, I don't know. Sirkin seems a little bit out of form.
He's just come back from injury.
Like,
he's been back 2 games.
So then
So he's building fitness. He's building, but I don't think Sirkin was the problem.
It seemed like he got beat twice on the left hand side when he was coming down, and I think that, to me, what I saw was that the reason why he got beat, we got that goal right before halftime, was because of him.
No, it wasn't. But, so the goal just before halftime falls squarely at the feet of 2 people, of Pritchard and the referee.
Pritchard, I think he needs a break.
I think he needs to be dropped, not to rest him, but just because he hasn't been up to scratch.
I
And look,
agree.
I
Yeah,
can understand it.
I agree. Yeah.
He's an attacking midfield player who's played really well with the strikers, and had
Hmm.
strikers to run off his passes, and he's been that's what he's been good with us for, and he hasn't had those strikers. And Clark's clearly not making the runs that Stewart or Sims would make, and nobody's holding the ball up. Oh, excuse me. Nobody's holding the ball up in order to be able to get more players into the attacks. But we got a free kick at 45 minutes and 10-15 seconds. Pritchard decided to take it quick, missed the
Yeah.
man and went straight to their defender, and they
Yeah.
come straight back down and score.
Hmm.
Now, had he had any common sense, he would have held on to that. He would have pushed the team forward. He'd have played out the time and we'd have gone in 0-0. That's what he should have done. But in the build up to the build up on when Luton were in possession, the Luton striker fouled Wright, I think it was,
Hmm.
which should have been
Uh,
pulled by the referee. If the referee can't see it, then the linesman should have seen it. That should have been a foul. It should have been a free kick to us, and we should have been on our way.
but the
But
refs
if you
in
look at games
both.
against Luton, Burnley, and Blackpool, three of the favourite teams in the division this season,
Hmm.
referee cost us a goal against Luton. Referee cost us 2 against Blackburn, and that cost us 5 points.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's that. In the last 3 games, referees have cost us 5 points. Now you give us those 5 points, and we're back up at 6th or 7th. But that's, I mean,
I mean, it's coming straight up. I think we're just, like I said, I think we're still doing very well. I'm still going for the high mid table.
if we finished in
So
16th,
yeah.
between 16th and 11th, I'd be over the moon.
Oh yeah. I think I said what, 12th?
I think so. I got it written down somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, top 10 would be fantastic. I
Yeah, it
think,
would be great.
but we would have to have no injuries. Because when we play our game, I think we can beat anybody on our day.
I mean, I'm 100% confident that once we get the whole reaction. I mean, we saw the goal, that beautiful goal of just, it was like watching Barcelona like just passing like all along the sideline and just
I'm gonna
breaking
I'm gonna
defense, and
disagree
it
with you. I don't think it was like
really, I
Barcelona, because Barcelona would have passed that thing around 39 more times. I'd have got bored, switched
no, no, I
over.
mean, like, yeah, if
That was a beautiful flowing counter-attacking move that I
yes,
don't think
there we go.
Barcelona are capable of.
I mean, I think Barcelona's capable. I mean, depending on what year we're looking at.
It's not in their makeup to move that swiftly.
Hmm.
I think it would have spent more time in the middle of the park, and they wouldn't have gone down the wing the way that we did. But that's me.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Barcelona fan. I hate that whole tiki taka possession based football. It annoys
Oh
me.
no, it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, it's very
Dull to
frustrating.
watch.
Yeah.
So
But yeah.
another issue we had in the first half definitely was Patterson. Look, he's fantastic with his shots. He's a little bit suspect when it
Mm,
comes to crosses, but his distribution, um, there was about half a dozen times in the first half where he's tried to be all Jordan Pickford and kind of half volley it out, and it just
yeah.
went nowhere.
Yeah.
And he just
There's
invites pressure straight away.
a lot of wasting balls I've seen, just trying to switch the play from him or from '09. I think '09 did it about like 2 or 3 times when he was trying to switch. Um,
That's
I
but,
think
but that's the thing
Patterson.
when you like. I was always taught if you're going to switch it, you switch it with pace, because you don't want to give the opposition the opportunity to kind of get men around, because the switch should be a long fizz ball to feet or to chest.
Yeah,
Um, but we just seem to float it. Like it seems to be a long floated crossfield ball, and it
but
just
I
it
think
seems to
that's
take
where.
forever.
Yeah, and but that's also where, like, I think they got nervous with the press too, so that's why those long balls started to happen. Um, So it was Patterson, I think, he did all right. I felt like in the Burnley match, he wasn't taking control of his box. I felt this match, he was, actually coming out a little bit more and just try, like you said, he still needs to work on those crosses. Um, and I think that's what, yeah, he definitely needs to work on those crosses for sure.
Yeah, I
But I
mean, he
think
needs to cut.
he took more control of the box. He needs to be a little bit stronger, I think.
He definitely needs to be a little bit more commanding. But again, he's young. Like that's going to come in
Yeah.
with his game. So I'm not going to be overly I'm not going to complain too much about that. But
Mhm.
as I said, the one big issue I had with him with regards to his distribution or when trying to break, I think he'd have been better served throwing the ball out as opposed to trying to volley it out and
Mhm.
misplacing the volley. But again, I think we had a couple of opportunities just before halftime with a mad. Um, Pulled out a good save by Horvath, low to his left on both occasions.
Mhm.
And he showed against Blackburn that those are goals that would go in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ahmad is really good on the ball. I think if he my biggest scare is he's gonna end up taking too much time on the ball. In some instances to I mean he lost it was at the edge of the box where he was trying to do the same move and then go for the same like switch.
So he's
But I
guilty.
mean,
I think because we don't have a striker in the box,
yeah.
I think he's guilty of what all our forwards have been guilty of since the strikers went out, and that's trying to take that extra touch to get that little bit better angle of goal, that little bit better, and end up
Hmm.
losing the ball. I mean, Clark's done it a number of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Roberts does
Neil
it
did
for
it.
fun, has done since he came to the club. Ahmad has done it more often than not. Like it's just that one touch. Just let me get it past this defender and have a better look. And oh well, this defender got the ball. So
Yeah.
I'm not too angry at that. I'm not angry at all. I mean, a point away at
Oh no.
Luton's a good
Yeah.
result.
Yeah.
Um, but these are things that you see week in, week out that we should be correcting.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I'm not like overly uh angry or upset with the team. It's still everyone seems like they're still I mean they're a young team. There's a lot of potential, there's a lot of talent, and we're in the championship, and it's good that we're still mid-table. We're going against teams that are favorites to win the league, and we're giving them a run for their money pretty much. And these kids are doing their first some of these kids are doing their first full, professional football season
Yeah,
at a
I
very
mean, look,
big
I
club.
mean, the lads are doing well. They're doing way
Yeah.
beyond what I think the expectation for them was. Because I think most of the professional pundits had us going straight back down.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
God. What was that, 2011? No.
uh,
Was it 2014? Damn it. When we went down, who do we have? We had Kazri and all those guys.
I've wiped
Yeah.
that period of history from the Moyes era.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean they were considered professional, but these kids are playing a lot better than the last time we were in championship for sure. So I
Oh,
think overall it's just like it's good to hear and see that everyone's excited for these kids and that everyone's looking forward to the season. And like you said, a boring season. Um, it's for me, it's still great to watch because we're actually playing some decent football where we're not just uh, launching it up the lines and just trying to, you know, kitchen sink it, Hail Mary that shit every time. Um, and I think our last what 4-2 was our biggest loss this season so far.
yeah, and again,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
look, we were
it's
completely outclassed in the second half of that game. And I think that's
yeah,
the only time throughout the entire season where we've been that outclassed.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I mean, look, I don't think we played particularly well against Luton, but we came away with a point. And if you'd offered me a point at the beginning of the day, I'd have taken it. I mean, the predictions that we had, Gordon Armstrong had gone for a 2-2 draw. So he got
hmm
the result right, but not the score. Sean thought we'd win 2-1. And I thought we'd get beat 1-0. So to say that we came out with points. I would have liked us to come out with a few more points again in these last 3 games, but
Yeah.
ultimately the fates didn't have that in for us. But we go again against Huddersfield on Wednesday night, and hopefully we'll pick up something from there. But again, so we lose a goal in the dying minutes of the first half, which has got to piss off the manager to have to rip up his team talk and start all over again.
Yeah.
But we came out and we looked a lot better when we came out, although it's a quiet start. I think after about 10 minutes of the second half, I was thinking it was time to bring Sims in, even if he is more of just a man for players to run off. It took another 15 minutes to get him on. And again, I mean, and in between that, I think Ahmad hit the side netting on a shot, but again, it was just taking that extra touch, thinking he's going to get more space, and not realizing the space wasn't in there. Evans came off for Sims in the end. At 70-minute mark, and I thought it was a little bit late to bring Sims on. Definitely want to see him earlier. Now Evans picked up a booking, which I haven't been able to work out what he got booked for. Have you any idea?
No, it's just like I said, the refs in this league and in the Premier League are just been absolutely ridiculous. Like they're the late calls that we're getting, the penalty, like you said, we lost 5 points. We're losing points because of the refs. So for them to just go back or just give us a card or not go back, well, I think what was it this match? He let the play go on, and then he still came back to the player to give him a yellow. And I was like, that's the first time I've seen it throughout this whole season. A ref remember to give a yellow card to a player that should have deserved the card instead of just letting it go and then they forget it.
But I mean, look, I think Diaku has proven that he's not a footballer.
No.
The only reason he's with us now is because contractually he was obliged to be because we went up.
Yeah.
Dan Neil seems to go missing in the bigger games. I mean, as much as I don't want to call Luton a big club, they were favored and they were overwhelming favorites for the game.
Yeah, I have a question mark on.
But again, I don't think that Mishu's the answer there either. But Embleton came on with half an hour to go. Obviously, he got us the goal on the 78th minute, I think it was. And he made the difference. I mean,
all right. So this is where I was just like, is it because he made the difference with the team because of himself, or is it because everyone started to target Sims, like you said, to be the target man? And I think once Sims came on, I felt like there was a different atmosphere. Like everything started to click a little bit better because we actually had a striker on.
No, I mean, who would have imagined that we'd play better with a striker? No, I think what I like about Embleton is he understands that he doesn't have the passing range of a on-form Pritchard. He understands that he may not be as combative as Dan Neil, but he uses what he's got to good effect. It's 2 goals in 3 games he's scored now. And I like him. Look, I always like the local. Shit.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Oh,
you're back.
No, it's mine. Fuck. Sorry, cramp in my thigh.
Oh shit.
Oh,
give it a massage.
Podcast. Oh shit.
You all right though?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think what I'm gonna do.
Maybe drink some water. I don't know.
I've been drinking water. No, I'm just gonna elevate the.
Do it standing up.
Yeah. There we go. Now, I mean, you can still see the boxes that I'm clearing up, but that was interesting. No, so I was saying about Embleton, I think he understands his limitations, but he also knows where his strengths are. And I think as a midfielder who can get forward and pop up with a goal, he's our best option right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to see these kids. Mishu. I don't even know what this kid is going to do or how he's going to fit. It seems like he's not doing much. To me, it seems like he's not going to fit in very well, and he's going to be gone. Hopefully, do we have to hold him, or
I mean, I wouldn't say
not too
hopefully. I
sure.
mean, clearly he's
I just haven't
out because he's
seen.
keeping other players out of the team. He's
Yeah.
like, and you got to remember he's only 19. He's never played in the
Yeah.
English league before,
Mm,
so it's a big change. It's a big culture shock. Even some of the best players in the world who've come to the Premier League and come into the UK have taken time
mm.
to settle. So I'm never gonna give a foreign guy grief because he hasn't lit the world on fire straight away. But I mean, when
The
we
cramp
when we
is gone.
brought on
Hopefully.
when we brought on the sub when Evans went off and Sims came on,
Yeah.
there was a definite change in the flow and in the balance of power. I think having that striker was a big difference maker. Obviously, within 5 minutes of coming on, he nearly scores himself, a scramble in the Luton
Mm-hmm.
box. That keeper makes two good saves. I don't know how Clark failed to score.
Yeah.
And I just think as well sometimes this season when the ball's been bouncing around in the box in both defensive and an offensive manner, I think we've just been unlucky with ricochets.
Yeah.
I think an inch to the left or right, and the ball drops to a striker, and we've scored. And likewise with the defensive stuff, sometimes the bounces have been unkind to us. So hopefully in the second half of the season after the World Cup break, they start to kind of even themselves out.
Yeah. I think they've been very unkind to 09 because it seems like those own goals that we've been getting were ricochets from 09,
I mean, one
which
was
sucks.
ahead. He had the ball in his own net. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. There you go, ricochet.
but
Um,
I mean, look,
yeah, man.
with it, as I say, within 15 minutes of bringing Embleton on, and within 10 minutes of bringing on Sims, we're level. It was good work down the left with what was it? Clark cut in and brought the ball back, and Embo finished it off. So it was nice for that. But then the last 10 minutes, I just thought we were really sloppy in possession, especially Patterson trying to push play into the Luton half and giving it
Mm-hmm.
up, which meant that we had Luton coming straight back onto us. I think for the last 10, 15 minutes, I don't think either of the managers were particularly happy with the way that play was going. I think it was far too open and far too uncontrolled, and akin much more to a Sunday league game than a professional game.
Yeah. It started to get a little scrappy.
Yeah. But again, Sims went close, had his shot blocked, and then Roberts went close as well, just shot it wide at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, overall, it was an awful game to watch. I thought we were poor for the most. With the exception of Embleton's goal, the only real bright spot for me was Sims's return.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't expecting. I mean, they saw him on the bench. I was like, are they really going to do this? My biggest concern is every time with the Sunderland luck is you get him on, and then he picks up another small injury, and then he's out for like another week or two. I'm
Yeah,
glad
that
that
was my
didn't
biggest
happen,
concern.
and all that stuff just keep on. Like you said, it was the last 10 minutes. I started getting nervous at the last 10 minutes as well because I was just like, this is where we start to break down. Either heads start to drop, or it starts to get really scrappy. And when it does get really scrappy, we get screwed on penalties, and then two of our players are injured, and there's no yellow cards given to the other side. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being biased, or
No, and look, I mean, it's
that was my concern.
If you're gonna lose right at the end when you've done all the good work, like we did in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so I was critical of the Mowbray appointment. I still don't think he's the right manager, but he has my support. He has the support. Like, I think there's better out there, but for the position we're in right now, it's what the club wants to do. He's not doing a bad job. so I won't be hypercritical of him.
I think his position right now is critical for where we're starting off at in championship, and I think he's going to be here. They already have him down from contract, and I think that's his length is the most we're ever going to get from him, and the most we're ever going to get from him is just from championship. I don't see him having us go up to Prem at all.
I think he had look. I mean, he's had teams promoted to the Premier League in the past. For me, he's too much of a kind of a Steve Bruce kind of appointment. He was a player who was never spectacular as a player. I mean, Bruce was a spectacular defender. But he's very much a nothing of a he's character wise, personality wise. And I haven't really enjoyed watching his teams play when they've been on TV. But right now he's managed to keep a team together with sticking plasters and gaffer tape. So let's see what he does with a transfer window in January. See if there's players he brings in that he wants. See if there are players who might go. It wouldn't surprise me if 09 went in January. I think with positional specific players, 09 becomes surplus to requirement. He's not good enough to play championship midfield. He's not a central defender. No. And he's tactically naive at right back. So I think with Tri-Hume and Gooch fit, I think with 4 central defenders fit, I think you see 09 heading off on loan for the end of the season.
Yeah.
Similar to
at the end of the season or in January?
In January.
Okay.
I think we'll bring 2 or 3 players in January. Kind of a defensive cover, probably someone midfield cover, and another striker. I think that'll allow us to release 09 on loan to a League One team.
Yeah, I think that'd be best, and probably Djaku. No.
Yeah, because I think if the 2 strikers are fit, Djaku's nowhere near the first team.
Yeah.
And Djaku's on a 3-year contract, so he's going to be a bit harder to shift permanently. But if he can get game time and he can start scoring and he can start creating, then who knows? But look, we've got 2 games coming up this week as the World Cup gets even closer.
Yeah, it's insane how they crammed all these matches in.
Well, I mean, look, it's all down to the fact that the World Cup has been held in the place the World Cup should never be held in. I mean,
I'm not going to get into that.
Qatar has no right to be hosting a World Cup, none at all. But hey, so we have Huddersfield Wednesday. We're at Huddersfield right now. Huddersfield are in the relegation zone and have looked awful.
Yeah, I've been reading up on them. They're not looking too hot. What do you think? I gave myself a prediction and I said 2-0. If we get Sims back in it, at least, I'm confident we're gonna do 2-0.
I'm confident with a 2-1 win. I think I think we've got goals in us, but we also have the propensity to leak. So I'm happy with a 2-goal outing, but I think we'll win. And then we're at home to a team I have a soft spot because I was at university in the city. Cardiff City coming up to the Stadium of Light on Saturday. Cardiff are level on points with Sunderland, 21 points. They've leaked a lot more goals than we have. They're -6 goal difference to our +1.
I think that's going to be the match where we're actually boring. I think I'm going to go for a 0-0.
No,
that one. Yeah, we're just going to get a point out of that one.
I think we'll win 2-0. I think we'll have 2 wins off the belt. And then one more game, I think, after that. And then we're off to the World Cup to support our nations.
I'll just be watching flights for Sunderland or Edinburgh during that time.
Are you looking forward to Black Friday?
Why? What's happening Black Friday?
It's the World Cup match between England and America.
I'll probably watch it. I don't have uh the States right now. We had all these big names. Everyone was going hard for the big names, and look where they're at now. They're not doing much. They're not much to like be chanting about. Um, I wasn't excited for this World Cup anyway. It kind of like messed up the whole, knowing the Qatar and all the other shit. I didn't want to get into it, and I was like, I'll probably watch one or two games. Um, it'd be fun to watch. Give you guys some shit, you know.
You think America are capable of giving England some shit?
No, but it'd be nice to see you guys drive on the right side of the road.
We do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do.
No, you don't. Everywhere else in the world,
The world
that's
revolves,
correctly.
around England. You look at time zones, all revolve around England.
Well, I could tell you trains do not, because Jesus Christ. Uh,
The trains in England are awful. They always have been.
always have been, yeah. I still think, and it's tomato.
It's tomato.
Because I'm pretty sure it's tomato because its origins from Mexico. So
How do you pronounce it in Mexican
in Mexican,
or Spanish,
tomato.
rather?
I like the catch there. In Spanish, yes, tomate.
Oh, so not tomato.
No, tomato is America. Like I said, I cowboyed up so fucking quickly once I went to London. I was just like, man, fuck this. All these Five Guys, what is up with all the Five Guys? What happened to a fish and chip spot every couple of blocks?
Yeah, friends
I
who've
get
been
out
back to
there and
London recently have complained that it's got very American.
it's super American. And I was just like, come on, man. I had more of a time when it was just,
But
fish and
did you
chips, all
realize in
these.
Five Guys in the UK they don't do peanuts?
They don't do peanuts on a lot of places. Yes, I heard there's like a lot of allergies and shit like that. So
I mean,
they
that's
they
one of the
crack
reasons to go to Five Guys is you can sit there and eat peanuts and then you can take a load
Yeah.
home with you.
Yep. And then just throw it at the people you don't like.
Yeah. All right. Well,
No, I would. Yeah.
look, Jose, congratulations again on the engagement. Sorry that
Of
the
course.
Queen
Thank you.
popped off and ruined your trip for you.
She did it on purpose.
Hopefully you'll be able to make the International Fans Day. If you do, then I definitely will buy you a
Yeah.
pint. Not in the stadium because they're bloody expensive, but at a
Yeah.
local hostel
Of course.
around. Thank you very much for coming on, dude. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Of course. It's great.
I will get to editing this afternoon and try and get out this evening. If not, it'll be first thing in the morning.
Excellent. Sounds great.
So Saturday we have the Cardiff game. The Toronto branch are hosting a get together.
They are.
And,
Yeah.
Wisely or not, I have John Ellington on, who is the branch secretary. He's going to be live from the bar.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
with fans in the background. So hopefully it's not too manic next week. But we will definitely have you back on before the end of the season. Thanks again for stopping by.
Of course. Talk to you later, Gavin.
All right, guys, that's all we have time for on our Stars and Stripes and Maple Syrup. Join us again on Saturday or next weekend when we have John Ellington, the branch secretary of SAF NASA. For me and from Jose, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much.